Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Idiots in the Wild. And first up we have had to deal with a nasty lady on the phone today. This is a retail hell story by No Education 1206. So for a quick backstory, I work in a retail store that has a salon inside, which I know is an odd scenario. My job is similar to a receptionist, so I have to make confirmation calls, cancellations, book appointments, etc. This past week, one of my co-workers has had a health scare and called in today to let management know that they were recommended by their doctor to take a few days off work. Their symptoms have made it where they are unable to fully complete services, or are in extreme pain doing so. This co-worker offers salon services that no one else offers, so we aren't able to get their clients in with someone else, unfortunately. I, of course, offered to call and reschedule and cancel their guests if needed. Now on to the story. Called a guest they had on the books for tomorrow. I was nothing but kind, and quickly explained without going into much detail that unfortunately the person they were booked with will not be in this weekend, but that I can gladly reschedule them or cancel their appointment if needed. I also went ahead and apologized for the inconvenience. Lady immediately has an attitude. I mean, even when I said hello and asked how she was doing, she then proceeds to ask if they will be there Sunday, which the answer is no, saying I literally said they will not be here this weekend. This co-worker doesn't work Mondays and Tuesdays anyway, so I explained Wednesday would be next availability if she's able to come in that day. Client's response, no. I took this as she can't wait that long, so I said something along the lines of, no problem, I completely understand. I can cancel that appointment for you if needed. She cuts me off before I'm completely done. Now hold your horses, I wasn't done. Goes on to ask about Thursday, which I tell her they will be in and have availability from 12 to 4, and ask if any times are best for her. Only answer I get is no. I then have to go back and forth with her to get a time she wants to come in. After I get her scheduled, she then proceeds to go on and on about how unprofessional it was for me to call her so last minute, and try to make her cancel her appointment. Then she understands things happen or that it could have been an emergency, right? But that it was really shitty of me to call her and cancel/reschedule. Also that she will give us one more chance after this, and hopefully they are good after dealing with this. Granted, I still didn't tell her it was due to medical issues, or that it was basically an emergency, but honestly, I try not to overshare. It's really none of the customer's business when it's things my coworkers are dealing with. Cherry on top of everything, client also proceeds to tell me that the appointment isn't even for her, but for her sister-in-law. I can't imagine ever speaking to someone on the phone as nasty as she did to me, but especially if I was making an appointment for someone else. Well, if you ever have to call that creature again, just cancel. Don't give her the opportunity to rebook. Story number 2. No, dumbass, we cannot do refunds on gift cards. Also Retail Hell by Electrical Author 389. So I've been a Dollar General for 2 years and I'm about done. People drive me insane. I've been job hunting for a few weeks now for something non-retail and no luck yet. Not only so I don't have to deal with a-holes, but being forced to socialize with strangers all day drains me by the time I get home. I don't want to talk to anyone. Most of my shifts aren't terrible, but holy hell, this customer the other day made me want to jump off a cliff. This happened a few days ago, and I'm just now writing this, but seriously, it's probably one of the worst interactions I've had. This is why I've stayed here as long as I have, because most of the customers are actually quite friendly, minus the few bad apples, and I can tolerate the place because I like my coworkers. At first, everything was fine. We were chatting nicely, like normal, respectful humans do. He was old, 84 years old to be exact. He made that clear. I'm 84. I'll elaborate on that later in the story. This man bought 4 Apple gift cards, one for $100 and the other 3 for $50. And he was telling me that he needed the gift receipts and had trouble reading the numbers on the receipt. So, told him that's okay, I'll align them for you. Well, God forbid I make a normal human mistake and accidentally drop one of the receipts in between a non-retrievable crack in the register. I aligned the other 3 and handed him the last card and told him sorry I dropped it, but the card is still activated. You don't need the paper. This man has a hissy fit. He immediately starts yelling at me and says he wants a refund because the card is worthless without the gift receipt, which we all know isn't true at all. I try and calmly explain to him multiple times that he can still use the card. I thought he was joking at first because he didn't start yelling until I explained it the second time. But no, he was dead serious. I'm just a cashier and not a key, so I don't know how to deal with this. I call for my co-worker's help, and she's on break, mind you. Yes, that's also important to the story. She re-explains what I told him multiple times, and he doesn't want to hear it. So he starts yelling at her too. And then he starts blaming her. She was telling him that the receipt is non-retrievable because we would have to rip the register apart, and you cannot do refunds on gift cards, so you have to leave and call Apple because there's nothing we can do. So he says, "Whose fault was it? It wasn't mine, it was yours." And she said, "No, it's not my fault." And he says, "Yes, it was." And they go back and forth a few times until she says that it's nobody's fault. How could it be her fault? She wasn't even checking him out. I was. She was in the break room the entire time. If you're going to blame anybody, at least blame whoever dropped it, not the girl that was sitting in the break room eating her lunch and had no idea what was going on until I asked for her help. And this man is standing there full-on yelling at both of us, telling us that he's 84 years old, and he's been buying gift cards from Dollar General for many years, and he knows how it works, and blah, blah, blah. I mean, for a minute I thought maybe he needed it for proof of expenses or something, but no, it sounds like he's just a farthead. Okay, Chad. The male name for Karen. Is it? I thought Chads were like buff, smug-looking guys. Like me. If you're 84 years old and have been buying gift cards from Dollar General for many years, then you should know how gift cards work. You do not need the gift receipt to activate it. He repeats this so many times. This particular co-worker is the more bitchy one, but in a very good way. She doesn't take shit from people and stands up for herself. I have a best friend like that, and she's awesome. She lets people taste their own medicine when necessary. So she says, "You need to calm down and stop being disrespectful." And he goes, "I am not being disrespectful." The fuck do you mean? You're going to stand there and yell in our faces and then proceed to tell us that you're not being disrespectful? It gets worse. After he's going back and forth with my key with the same points and doesn't get what he wants and refuses to leave until he does, he tells us to call the police. Yes, you heard that right. He keeps yelling, "Call the police! I have a witness!" No, honey, that witness is a semi-regular, and he's just as annoyed. You're on your own. Nobody here is on your side. So my key says, "If I call the police, you will be escorted out of this building. I cannot return this gift card. They are non-refundable, and you need to leave." And he keeps yelling at her over and over again to call the police. So she picks up the phone and calls our store manager on what to do. Our store manager almost called the district manager because she didn't know what to do either. This is around the point where I walked away because the key was dealing with him and I was tired of hearing him yell. I checked the few people behind him out on her register and then walked away. So the rest of this is from what she told me. I saw her scan the receipt as I was walking away, and after the guy left, I asked her how she got him to leave. Our manager told her to just refund the guy and then she would call the district manager afterwards and deal with the consequences later. But when she scanned the receipt, there was a... I didn't mention this because I thought, well, that doesn't matter. There was a reprint option. So she clicked that to see what would happen, and it reprinted the gift receipts. But she didn't know it did that because it's a new update. My other co-worker has been there for 8 years as the assistant manager, and even she knew that it only reprinted the master receipt and not all the gift receipts. But it's a new update because it reprints the gift receipts now. so she got him to leave after he got his gift receipt. Y'all know you can ban him, right? In this last part of the process, my coworker was still getting yelled at and being told it was all her fault and blah blah blah. Literally, as she was on the phone with our store manager trying to solve the problem, the guy kept interrupting and yelling that it was all her fault. And then he had the audacity to say, "Thank you," after he got his gift receipt. Like, what the fuck do you mean, thank you? You were just throwing a complete fit like a toddler over a piece of paper and yelling at us like we don't matter. And now you want to tell her thank you? Fuck off. Story number 3. Sometimes I use my powers for evil. This is by Mert Girl, and this is a hotel story. Sometimes I use the power given to me for evil. But usually it's justified. It's Friday night in the capital city of my state, in the summer. That means an automatic full house for the next 48 hours. We have 130 rooms total, and tonight was special. Out of the 49 check-ins we had, everyone was so kind and patient. Well, almost everyone. Check-ins start. The first hour is coordinated chaos like usual. Long line but moving quickly. Everyone is cheery and in a great mood. Then the second hour begins. Almost on the hour, we have a family come in, father, mother, and daughter. The father and daughter immediately have an attitude. Why? Not sure. I'm friendly to everyone until they give me a reason not to be. They have 2 rooms. I ask for 2 IDs, one for the adult in each room. Immediately they have a problem. If I booked both rooms under my name, why should I have to give 2 IDs? Because hotel policy, ma'am. She huffs and puffs, and she pulls out her ID and makes her husband do the same. Then I pull out the paperwork. We're a bit behind the times, so we make guests fill out physical paperwork. You would have thought that I asked them to strip buck naked in the lobby from their reactions. How else do you fill out paperwork? Paperwork! You should have all our information from the reservation we made. So I casually look at how they booked. Of course, Spexidia. Spexidia doesn't send us phone numbers or email for reservations. Not sure if that's normal everywhere, but here we don't get jack. After telling them they booked with a third party and they don't send us the information, and another 2 minutes of huffing and puffing, the paperwork is signed. Mind you, the husband has been standing off to the side the entire time, not saying a word, because he knows better. As the wife is handing me the paperwork, she makes a quip about contacting the manager to tell him this check-in process is unacceptable. I'm the manager. That's the point that I assigned both rooms as far apart from each other as possible, and I hand them the car to the room. I get a fucking earful. These rooms aren't together? We booked these rooms expecting them to be right next to each other. These rooms aren't together? We booked these rooms expecting them to be next to each other. I look at her deadpan and say, if you need anything else, I'll be here until midnight. Thanks for choosing to stay with us. Crazy part is that I had one upgrade to give tonight, and they were the perfect candidate for a 2-bedroom. Instead of an upgrade, they bitched their way to a downgrade. Fucking people. Story number 4. Extra Blankets in the Middle of July by Lolita Rott. Also a hotel story. A guest at the hotel I work at called from their room to request an extra blanket be brought to them. Sure thing, if you head down to the desk, I can grab that for you. I twiddle my thumbs for a bit, until the guest requesting a new blanket arrives at the desk. I confirm what he wanted, to which he replied that he now wants an extra blanket and 3 extra pillows. Now, I'm not one to argue with guest requests. Overnights are mostly boring YouTube marathons for me, so for the most part I do whatever they want within reason. However, I know for a fact that we did not have 3 extra pillows for him, and I was almost certain we didn't have any. I tell him so, but say I will check and set off again. I get to the room where we keep the extra bed sets, and upon entering, I see that the door to the closet inside is shut. Weird, because the last time I was in there I did not close it. I put the key into the knob and twist. Nothing. I hate it when that happens when I twist a knob. I do it again, still nothing. You've got to be kidding me. I try for close to 10 minutes to unlock this door that should not have been closed, and it will not unlock. I give up, and text my manager explaining that of course the one time someone wants something from this room, the door won't open. He tells me that it should unlock with the key I was using, and that I just have to twist, and sometimes it will take a minute, so I try again. 5 more minutes pass, and by now the key has left an indentation on my finger where I was twisting and twisting, to the point I thought I was going to snap the key off in the lock. After doing nothing more than exerting myself and getting frustrated, I return and explain the situation to the man. I'm very sorry, sir. I've been trying to get the door open to grab your items, but it just will not open. I can try again and call the room if I'm able to get it open, and bring the items to your room if you would like.
Okay, but we will be close to his sleep by then, no?
So you don't even need the pillows, you bastard. Yeah, I'm very sorry. I have no idea why it isn't working, but the door will just not open. If I'm able to get it unlocked within the next 10 minutes, I can call your room and bring it up to you, though.
Is there someone else who can get them?
I don't know. Do you know someone who can phase through solid objects? No, sir. It's almost 1 a.m., and I'm the only one here. I repeat what I said previously, and he goes back upstairs while I go back to the Closet of Doom. Times like these I wish I had knock equipped in my spell slots, but alas, I seem to have chosen Speak with Animals instead. I try again for another 5 minutes to get the door open, and when I still have no luck, I curse the owner of the hotel for being cheap and the manager for assuring me it would open as long as I kept trying. They're trying to drive you insane. Now I'm sitting here praying that he does not call the desk, because I will have nothing but bad news for him. Edit. The guest came down to the desk. I greeted him and explained that I was very sorry, but I could not get the door open and provide him with what he requested. He then went on a rant about how this was very weird and asked how I would support my guests, which didn't really make sense, but okay. I explained that the door is usually open, but for some reason was not today, and that I literally could not get it open. I have expected him to ask me to prove it to him, which I would have probably done, because why the hell would I lie about something like this? But then it would have opened. Come on, you know it would have. It was just waiting for a moment like that. He asked how I will get the door open in the morning, and I said, "Sir, I'm not going to get it open in the morning. When my manager arrives, I will tell him that it would not open, and then he will deal with it." That's why he gets the big bucks. Every time I would respond to this man, he would pause for a minute, then turn his gaze to the side like he was thinking. Finally, he just said thank you and left. And now here I am updating this post. Alright, 5th and final story for today. Brag about how you'll just outbid me? Fine, I'll just outplay you. By Ruffian. This is a petty revenge. This is incredibly stupid and petty, but here we are. I was at a charity auction for a very niche world this past weekend. I'm keeping things vague as it is such a niche world, and the mood at these events is always jovial, brash, loud, and fun. Everyone's having a good time. There's a live auction with a simultaneous silent auction that ends a few minutes after the live one. It's a positive, almost celebratory atmosphere. Well, one of the well-known figures in this little world was bidding on what seemed like half the silent auction items. We'll call him Steve. He always upped bids by just the minimum $1, and it felt like he was impossibly everywhere. Items were on tables lining a large banquet hall, so not just one central location. There was one fun-themed home decor item I loved, and had bid on a few times that I was keeping an eye on. When I went to update my bid, at one point, a woman was standing in front of it with Steve standing next to him. She immediately upped my bid, then stood with her hands on the table in front of it, blocking it almost like a dog guarding a toy. Okay, whatever. I playfully say something like, you really want it, eh? Man, I see your name everywhere. It's just like, give up if you see Steve's name. Yeah, I have 3 people out there watching the tables and bidding for me. Steve's a cheating farthead. Okay, this is blatantly against the rules, as is guarding the item. But I'm a nobody to this dude bro's somebody in this world, so whatever. Should I even bother trying to bid on it anymore? You can, but I'll just outbid you. Okay, Dish, I see you. Whatever, you can have this cool thing if your ego needs it that badly. I walked away. At the end of the live auction, they announced it was the final 60 seconds for bids, and I noticed Steve was not near said cool item. So I sped over to the table and excitedly placed my bet. Oh, no judgment. I have sniped many times while bidding on eBay. Then I realized the nearby different woman was one of Steve's assigned bidders, and she immediately outbid me. During those 30-ish seconds, as she wrote the bid, I asked, "Oh, you're bidding for Steve, eh?" "Yeah." She looked apologetic and embarrassed. Figuring let's at least make this sporting, I asked, "Well, do you have a top bid?" "No, he just told me to be sure to win it." Cool. Well, she happened to finish writing her bid and set the paper down just as the auctioneer started counting down the last 10 seconds. I immediately snatched up the paper and placed the winning bid with 1 second to spare, shamelessly throwing my 50-year-old arms in the air with a woohoo! Of victory. He may outbid me, but I outplayed him. I felt a little bad for the woman not doing what he'd impressed upon her to do. But suck it, Steve, it's mine. Oh, and it looks awesome in my house. And that brings us to the end of today's video. Big thanks to everyone who allowed me to use their stories. If you'd like to support the channel, you can sign up for my Patreon page, which is linked down in the description. $1 or more gets you early access to all the videos at once on Monday. Just a pay what you feel kind of thing. So also, let me think. Oh yeah, my merchandise store, I almost forgot that, is also linked in the description. That's over on Teespring. There's also links to my Threads account, my Discord server, if you're interested in Discord. And my email address is kingofthecities@gmail.com if you need to contact me. Oh, regarding my little confession of sniping on eBay, I think that's what they call it. I'd been watching it. I decided I had a little bit of extra cash, not a lot. I thought, okay, could I get a 3D printer that's decent for about £100? Answer is yes, by the way, you can. They're going quite cheap secondhand now, so if you can get a good one for £100. And I saw one, and I was keeping an eye on a few, and then I saw one, oh, that's really good. It was a Creality K1 SE. It's a stripped down version, but there's an upgrade path, so you can sort of eventually make it equivalent to the non-stripped down version, which is what I'll probably do eventually. And I was looking, do I want this? Do I want that? Got down. 2 minutes to go. I thought, okay, I'll log in. I might make a bid. Had a bit of trouble logging in, and eventually, there was about a minute to go. I don't want to make a bid. It was tick. And I think with about 30 seconds to go, I thought, okay, I'm going to make one single bid, because I didn't really want to go over the 100, but this would have been about 120 with the delivery on it. I thought, okay, I'll make a single bid. I'll probably get immediately outbid, but I'll be happy if I get it, but not disappointed if I don't. Anyway, I won the auction. 30 seconds to go. And that's currently in my living room, and I've got filament on the way. I have a few things in the house that need repairs. There's some decorative things for the light in the living room. The light itself works fine. It's just got some decorative discs around it that were made of plastic that got broke over the years, just one by one, because I'd throw a t-shirt or a coat on, and I'd be getting ready to go out. I'd forget I was standing under that, and it would catch and break them. And that happened to all three over the years. Everything works fine. The fan works fine. The light works fine. The decorative things. I have pieces of one of them, so I can get the size and the measurements for it. So I might see what I can come up with design wise. It'll be fun to learn how to do it. And there's my paper shredder needs a drive cog. So for maybe a couple of dollars worth of filament, I can print out the replacement part instead of spending anywhere from £50 to £70 on or 50 to 70 whatever's on a new paper shredder when that one just needs a repair. So I'm kind of looking forward to having the means of doing that. What I also like, I will not do this, but I like that I could do it. I could theoretically print out a 6-foot statue of Batman in pieces and glue it together. The only downside of that is at the end result I would have a 6-foot statue of Batman. What am I going to do with that? But it's nice knowing that I could. Okay, and with that, I'm going to head off for now. So until next time, thank you very much for watching, and take very good care of yourselves. Bye bye.